This is the Frontline Focus podcast, an experience dedicated to those on the front line of construction project sites, focusing on their development as the key to the construction industry's progress. This is Season 4. Our focus will be on the reality of AI, aka Artificial Intelligence. Specifically, how can AI make a positive impact on construction safety? In each episode, we will talk with a construction industry professional to hear their thoughts on how to shift the frontline focus on what artificial intelligence is and what the use cases are for AI to be used by the construction workers. Well, here we go again. We are talking about artificial intelligence, AI, for construction. And Gabe, I told you, there's a few people I wanted to talk to, and we keep getting them lined up one by one any way that we can. We're going to have another amazing conversation today. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. It's been hot in Vancouver. I'm excited. These AI conversations, I think we've done a pretty good job of not making it too similar. So many AI conversations you have are just so bland and they end up being the same thing. No one gets value out of it. So I think we've done pretty good, but having Jeff on the call here, I think we're going to get even deeper on that, which I'm excited for. And so now, Jeff, over to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. This has been like kind of the first thing I feel like in construction technology that I've like the AI angle that I've talked about that like everyone is interested in. You know, I've always gotten really deep into things and sometimes I lose people, but it seems like no matter if it's, you know, someone in the field, someone in the shop, someone in the office, everyone's interested. And so it's awesome to have an opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah, I think there's enough global buzz around AI where everyone's like, okay, whether I believe in it or not, or want to use it or not, I know about it and there's a level of interest around it. So hence the never-ending conversations around AI. And I think, we're taking a stab at how to do it in a different way where people can get some value out of it. But before we dive in, I have a couple questions, Jeff. Your background, it looks like you're on a job site. Where are you? And are you the first CTO I've met that actually knows how to use power tools?
So the second one, I do know how to use power tools. Right now, I'm at our cabin up in Lake Winnipesaukee. I am not. It's July 2nd when we're recording this, and so I am getting ready for July 4th festivities. I have four children, four boys, and so telling them we weren't going to the cabin wasn't on the play
Not an
card. So
option.
we're here doing podcasts and working, and my wife's in the other room on a call, and we get it done.
And the four kids are just sitting there calmly
Oh,
reading
so
books.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally not. Yeah, totally not.
Something's
Totally
on
not
fire right
making.
now for sure.
Yeah. Totally not making more repair work for me in the future. Yeah.
Yeah. They talk about AI. We need to create AI that can take care of four boys.
Yeah. I mean, even they're getting into it and I'm answering questions about it. So it is like, it's funny. Like, this is one of the few things I've been able to take home that they're interested in, you know.
What are they
So,
asking you about AI? I'm curious at that. How old are your kids, actually?
12, 10, almost 13, 10, 5, and 2.
Wow, so
And
you got
we
the full
never got,
spectrum.
we got the gambit, and we never got that girl, and we're done trying. But
That was
yeah,
going to be my
so
next question.
it's interesting, like kind of the older two are very interested. They understand, like it's like everyone else. They understand the LLM side. They know that it can make funny stories. It can do their homework for them. It can,
Yeah,
you know.
that's what I was going to say. Where's the value exchange for them?
Well, but like used the right way, right? It's going to make them better at the work they're doing. Used the wrong way and they won't retain any of the knowledge out of what they've done. And so it's like that's same thing with everyone. Like if it makes your PowerPoint presentation for you, you're not going to know the content. But if it punches it up for you, then you will know the content and you'll also learn a new skill on how to punch up a presentation. And so it's the same with them. It's like the other day we were kind of talking about how they can learn new skills using it. So my oldest is very interested in programming, but like anyone that's interested in programming, like when you start, it seems very far away. Like it seems very like complicated and difficult. And it's whether it's my 13-year-old or the BIM manager or whoever, like I'm like, oh well, you can go in and you can either just use the regular, chat GPT or whatever, or you can use one of these bots that people have created that it know all of that information and can teach you that and whatever. And so he started just right there, like talking back and forth about it. And that way I think it's great. It's like any tool. It's how you use it. you know.
It's like 100% like any tool. Like, I think we were on with Hugh last week, and he's very knowledgeable in AI. One of the things that he said to me that changed my perspective a bit is, what is the mindset that you have going into using the tool? Are you taking the perspective, AI being the tool, but any tool really, are you taking it to do the job faster, get something to be more efficient, faster, faster, faster? Or are you going in and using that tool to empower you to be better and have a better response or a better end product than you would have if you didn't use it? And I think that's so powerful, because a lot of people are going in saying, I can do my homework faster. Well, guess what? The end goal of your homework isn't to get it done faster. It's actually to learn and become better. And so it's just like any tool, using a hammer, a impact gun, whatever it may be. Are you using it to do it that much? Of course, the end result should be speed. But if you're not using it to make yourself that much more powerful, I think we're missing the
For
mark
sure.
on it. What do you think?
Yeah, so that's interesting. We have something that we've really been like thinking about and factoring into how we're working and how we also develop software and develop like add-ins and connections and bots and everything within my department. And like something we've been talking a lot about recently is we call it necessary effort. And so like within your use of AI, there are points at which you have to have necessary effort from the user so that they are still able to do their job at the level that's expected and the level that they would do it without AI. So, for instance, right now there's a bunch of estimating startups, right? There's a bunch of 2D takeoff, model based takeoff, all of this. It seems like something that AI could do really, really well, right? But
Right.
how familiar do you become with a job when doing takeoff? Like you learn that job inside and out. And so like sometimes
Yes.
even if someone's already done the takeoff, like that's something we'll give to a junior PM or a junior estimator and say, just do the takeoff because they're gonna figure out every little thing. They'll know every RFI that's on that job before the job starts because they did the
Right.
takeoff on the job. And that's a
Right.
necessary effort. So like a lot of these companies, and you guys, for coming from a safety standpoint, it's the same thing. Like you can use it to bolster your safety, but you can't use it in place of the knowledge that you have and need to gain to be a safe worker. And that's the same thing, And so it's all
Well, it can create
necessary
complacency.
effort. Well, complacency and that like your kid doing their homework. Like, yeah, you might not need to know like who the king of Prussia was, but you do need to know how to multiply. And if you just like it's the argument we got when we were kids, right? Which was you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket. And now everyone has a calculator in their pocket and more. But that's not the point of it. The point of it is that you need to know how to do it because that's the necessary effort to make you do your job correctly and well and as a human being be productive and all of that. And that's yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
I think I would even go higher. It's the fundamentals that we start to lose here. It's like you teach someone to fish, right? Like they have to
Yep.
understand so if the king of wherever doesn't matter as much as what you got and put in there as, do you know how to pull thought or investigate or pull this stuff together and formulate it in a cohesive way in general? Or are you losing that whole aspect of it? The critical thinking can very easily be removed with AI and actually make us less intelligent. Have you
Yeah.
seen the movie Wall-E?
Yeah. Abstract problem solving, right? And we see it, and like we see even now with just like social media and all of that and the workforce that's coming in, you see a lot of people that lack abstract problem solving. They can go down a list and do everything on that list step by step, but when step 6 doesn't work, they lose that abstract problem solving. And that's where, like, when I was just on a podcast the other day, we were talking about like hiring tech talent and that stuff, and it's like same thing with AI. You need the abstract problem solving, and then you can fill in the other parts later. Like your AI is a tool. It's not the answer. That's
It's
kind
not
of,
the solution. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It has to be viewed as something that empowers you to be better and have better outcomes that actually invoke more critical thinking. But it is just as dangerous as using any other tool the wrong way. You're not going to paint a wall with a hammer drill, right? That is going to be a disaster. And naturally, Rob, you got two people that you know very well in a call that we talk a lot, and we've completely just run through the whole talk track. We don't even know anything about where Jeff works or anything like that. Rob, why don't you anchor us back into into something here?
Oh, absolutely. We can peel that curtain back a little bit and say, if you haven't heard of Jeff Elwell, if you haven't heard of his company, EM Duggan, what does this mysterious company do? Because I do have a little bit of that knowledge. We met many moons ago doing some technology investigation and seeing what you were building back then, like the early building blocks to now where you are at between the current company you have, but also your startup. Man, I'm interested. Can you give us just a little play-by-play of the work that you've been doing for EM Duggan? But more importantly, you told me about this new startup. I'm really curious to understand how you are dispensing that knowledge out to the construction industry.
For sure. Since I know Rob, I'm gonna ignore his question for a second and say and tell a story. So the way that I know Rob, and I've told this story a lot, him and Josh Bone and a few other people were consulting for, and I mentioned him and Josh because they were the ones that were very in touch with me and involved in the process with me. But they were consulting for EM Duggan, almost a decade ago. Duggan has always wanted to be very tech forward, very process forward. You can't be the best without, actively looking at everything you're doing and trying to push the ticket, right? And so we had them come in and do an audit basically on our tech, how we were doing, where we could go, what we should be doing, that this and that. At the time I was the BIM manager, and they interviewed me and a bunch of other people at the company, and they eventually came to the conclusion that I should be kind of like a tech champion at the company, like not a director, not a man, just like someone that was really trying to push the ticket. I was the BIM manager, and so like they were like, you should give him a tech title so that he can really like look into everything over the whole company. Well, 8 years later, and now I'm the CTO and I'm talking to you guys about my startup. So it worked out really well for me.
Well, and
And
obviously EM Duggan as well. I mean,
well, yeah, I
would
mean, everything seems to have gone really well. But like really, like that was one of the first times that I really realized the type of company I was at too, which is part of all of this, is that like when we're doing AI or anything else, like you need your company and your senior management to be with you all the way, and that's kind of where I'm at. But so EM Duggan's the mechanical contractor in Boston. We do just pipe, all, anything that has to do with pipe. We do service, we do small projects, big projects, you name it. And we have two dedicated fab shops, three dedicated buildings in Canton. We have a couple warehouses that are across the state and everything. We're starting to branch out into New Hampshire and Maine. And so, yeah, everything's really going great on the Duggan side. Like, tell people I work at like my version of Disney. What I always wanted was like 5-year-old me to be proud about the job that I had, like be like, oh, that's a cool job. And I think I did okay on that. So, like I just, we're always trying to do what we can to like be as in touch with technology and use same. We're gonna keep going back to the AI thing, and it's like it's the same as any other software. And my approach with software and EM Duggan's approach with software is it's a 135-year-old company. Our workflows and our culture is what like really sets us apart and makes us really good at what we do. And so if we're going to be using technology in that way, then we want the technology to adapt to us and not us adapting our workflows to the technology. And that was my pitch, way back when we had talked to Rob, and it's my pitch now. And so what we've developed is a tech department that is about 15 strong, not including myself, and we have a BIM department, we have a solutions department with developers that is 5 people, and then we have a like general support and implementation team. And so now what we're doing, because what I believe, and again, what I and EM Duggan believe is that like really on the technology side, you need to have people that specialize. Like your best coordinator can't also be your BIM manager. Like he can be your BIM manager, but you can't have people that are like trying to do everything all the time because then you're
Yeah.
not really getting anywhere. And so that's where we were at with our tech department. And so basically with the startup, what we've done is it's called Duggan Innovative Solutions. And what we're doing is exactly what we do for Duggan for other people. So we're doing implementations, we're doing classes, we're doing audits like what JB Knowledge used to do back in the day. We're doing API connections and software work. We're doing add-ins for Revit and any other software. And then we're also doing like education, which is really what I love. Just like, implementation and education. And it's going really well so far. We're about 6-ish months in, and I thought we were going to be able to get off to like a slow start and see how things went, and now we're just kind of going. And so it's been great. It's been more than I could have, you know foreseen. And yeah, I mean, you got it, like Rob, you know me, like I love it. And so I'll like this is amazing, getting new problems and new companies to work with and all of that. And so it's been great.
That's
Man,
awesome.
that is a wild ride over 8 years to see what you're talking about, going from, hey, we're talking about like how to get your BIM models out in the field back in the day, to the amazing stuff that I know you're doing in those shops now. I'm curious, the talk we're talking about today, AI. So if you're going out consulting teams outside of you, when someone asks, how are you explaining to them why they should even think about AI for construction for a mechanical or any other trade team right now?
Sure. So internally and externally, obviously, that's the big thing right now, right? Like 8 years ago, BIM, we couldn't go anywhere without every 3 words being BIM. Now we can't go anywhere without every 3 words being AI. And it's one of those things that like I'm trying to think about it, and I think people should think about it the same way we think about everything else. It's a software, it's a tool. Someone said to me recently that having like an approach for AI is like having an approach for Excel. Like it's more of like adding value to your life rather than being like something you're implementing. And so that's really hard for people to like visualize and understand, is that like your AI, you might have had 3 tools already that were using AI or learning algorithms or whatever. I'm sure you do. And so now that's kind of what the early entrances right now, right, is like pointing out what you're using that's very similar to like those learning algorithms and stuff. Explaining, that I said it to you guys before we started today, like people that say like, oh, my company isn't using AI yet. Well, your company isn't using AI, but a lot of your people are. Most of your
Yep.
people under 50 are using AI to do their job, whether or not you know about it. And so what I say is those are the people that you pinpoint, like the people that are just doing it. And whether or not you like it, they're going to be using it. And you take them and you kind of open it up to like, here's the safety you need to be aware of. Here's the security risks. Okay, go. And come back to me. And it was that's another thing that you gave me, Rob, is like we have a group of tech champions at EM Duggan from each department that we know are going to try out what we give them. And so those people we get all the feedback from, and every company should have that, and a lot do. And so we're getting that feedback from them, and then really really doing classes educating around like what the possibilities are, what AI even is, what LLMs are, because now most things AI are synonymous with LLMs. And then going into like how to safely use it. But now that we have the input from these people that are already using it, we have things that like me as the tech guy wouldn't have thought about, like use cases for project managers or for coordinators, or that like, for a good example is we had my safety manager, Bill Shea. He was asking me about like OSHA chatbots, basically. Like, do you know any good OSHA chatbots? Is there like one that we could subscribe to, whatever? And you go into ChatGPT or Claude or any of them, and there's 50, because like that's one of the things that it's best at, right? And so like those easy entry level, like, hey, isn't this cool? Like that's how I'm choosing to implement it and make people comfortable with it. Like, no, you probably shouldn't go into ChatGPT and put the contract that you just got from your general contractor in there. But you should use it to like read your spec, because I don't know who expects you to read the spec, but you can do it a lot better if you put it in Claude or ChatGPT or my AI drive and do it that way. And so that's it. Like, it's like anything else, just making people comfortable, recognizing there are risks, but they're not any more than anything else, and just kind of going with it and implementing it like it's a tool, because it is.
Agreed. And just like any tool, I think one of the things AI isn't going to solve, and I don't think this is actually something we should solve, is human beings are really good at focused efforts. We start to get really bad when we try and do everything. Just like EM Duggan, you're not doing electrical, plumbing, or drywall, paint it, right? You're doing one thing and you do it really well, and you're the best at it. That's why people hire you. And so when you think about AI right now, there's a lot of general tools out there, and there is use for general tools like ChatGPT and everything else. But even them, they're starting to pick their verticals that they're going to focus on, going after software development or other things like that. They're the big things. I believe, just like we made a bet at Salus on safety being our only focus, that's all we care about. Same thing with AI. I believe that vertically focused AI is going to be the future, and we're just seeing the early stages of this becoming what it is today. And the companies that are picking something and just doing that really well, because right now ChatGPT and these other models out there are so generic that yes, it's impressive at what they can surface, but it's still not anywhere near as good as something that is just vertically, like, you're not I've used ChatGPT to try and build slide presentations. It's god awful. So I had to take the prompt from ChatGPT, build me a slide presentation, and build me the prompts to use in a specific slide presentation AI tool that was going to give me the best result. And by the way, give me the best top 5 AI generated slide presentation tools. And that worked really well. But then when I'm in the slide presentation tool, it was actually really bad at reconfiguring and prompting. So I had to go back into ChatGPT. So there is no all-in-one solution. There never will be as long as human beings are on the planet. We just can't do it. Do you believe as well in that kind of idea and mentality of vertically focused? These AI tools are going to become tools, but it's going to be specifically powered like accounting, finance, safety. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think we're already kind of there, and you laid it out. Like really, ChatGPT isn't good at some of the things that like Claude is good at, and Copilot's okay at things that ChatGPT isn't. And so like we are already getting specialized. I think right now, like what the AI industry went for 3 4 years ago was the party trick, right? Like, hey, isn't this amazing? And it is.
Yeah.
It's completely amazing. And if you want me to get existential, which I don't think you do, but if you did, what I would say is like, yeah, it needs to be specialized until it doesn't. And then when it doesn't,
Yeah.
like that's when all of the sci-fi movies start becoming a reality and we have more things to worry about than workforce and that stuff, right? But for now, yeah, and you're already seeing it. So like if I'm gonna go in and have something do like you guys may be familiar with my AI drive, and it's basically you upload your PDFs to this drive, and then you can use like, I don't know, 6 different chatbots on it. Like you can use DeepSeek, you can use Claude, you can use ChatGPT, whatever. You can put agents on it, and so like I've quickly learned that depending on the task I want to carry out, some are much better than others. So if I'm trying to pull like actual like if I have a document and I'm trying to pull information from it, Claude is way better than ChatGPT. But for like abstract thinking and knowing what I'm actually looking for, like if I was looking at a spec, it's probably ChatGPT is probably going to know a spec better than Claude is. And like and that's already like going in those verticals. And then with your custom GPTs that people have, but yeah, like now I'm super interested in a lot of these startups, and I'm actually like the most interested in like non-language AI. So like we're all talking about LLMs like it's the only thing, right? But for like a decade now, computer vision's been on the way up. A lot of the like prescriptive and predictive analyzing and data usage and simulation and all of that. And I think that that's like even going to be a bigger part of it. We just might not know. Like, meaning like you're gonna be using the tools and I know like a lot of these software companies will definitely let you know that it's AI. Shove it down your
Yeah.
throat that it's AI.
Even if it's not AI, it's
Yeah,
AI.
exactly. Even if it's 3 guys in a closet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
and so, but yeah, and I think that that's like, yeah. So we're gonna see a lot more specialized solutions that have that's the whole like you don't have an implementation plan for Excel thing. Like you're going to use it as a tool within other tools. You're not going to be using it as a standalone does everything solution. And even if you have like your chats, like those are just admin tools, right? Like that's what they're good at is administrative things. Like it's not like they're good at making PowerPoint presentations yet. And so that's where we're at. And really like even a lot of the LLMs, like what they're doing is they're taking the AI and then making it really good at recognizing like human patterns. It's not that they're making the AI and then letting us talk to it. It's still a program on top of it that's, good at something else. And so yeah, I completely agree with you until it's not. And
Yeah,
then
I
we're,
think
yeah,
it's
and then we're through.
yeah, right now it's very clunky in which
Yeah,
like, okay, I use this for this, then I use that for that, and then what we're gonna see is emerging leaders in their verticals, and
sure.
the barriers between that are going to disappear because when AI starts talking to AI, it's not APIs talking. Like it's gonna be more agentic communication that will because right now, a human being can walk in somewhere. We don't realize it, but we're using so many different things to analyze and use context or whatever it may be. Like I remember I was in the airport and I just turned my head and I saw the back of somebody and I turned back because I knew who it was. Split second. I analyzed, I was like, oh, that's this person. And I was like, and I was right, right? But there's no AI software that can do that type of stuff in a moment like that. Of course, you have facial recognition
Well,
software, everything else, but
without specializing, without being
without
trained to do that.
specializing.
Yeah,
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 like
yeah, yeah.
I'm pulling so many different things in at the same time thinking about something to do with our one of our product launches, at the same time thinking about sales, at the same time thinking about right? So I
Yeah.
think that that becomes more of a reality in the interaction with AI where I want to get this done and you're using it truly as an assistant that can do everything where you say, "Hey, I want to build a safe work procedure that has an interactive video in it that turns into a form at the end that can break up complacency." And it builds that for you and but empowers you to be more creative around how you do it because it's not taking the creativity. It's empowering you to be
Yeah.
creative. and then actually solves the end result, which all this safety stuff, I'm talking safety, that's just because what we know.
It's okay.
All the creation doesn't matter if the field level worker doesn't actually absorb it and interact with it
Yeah.
and doesn't get that value exchange. So it's exciting.
Everybody
but
wants the Knight Rider car. Everyone wants Kit, right? Like,
Yeah.
like that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to watch that show Viper. Did you ever watch Viper? There's the same thing. It was this car, it was a Viper,
Ripoff.
Dodge
Yeah.
Viper. It was later. It was like in the mid to late 90s, and it was just this car that was like could do everything. So
Yeah, that's what I
same
want my
thing.
AI to be. Yeah,
We've been talking about AI for how many years, right?
that's it. Yeah. And that's it. Like, that's the funny thing to me, is that, like, that people are surprised by this, and it's like everything that we come up with in science fiction is 50 years away. Like, you carry around an iPhone all day. Once Rob told me that, I asked him what the biggest change in construction technology was in his life, and he said an iPhone, and I'll never forget that, because it's like, yeah, you're right, and I don't even think about it, and that's why it's such a powerful thing. When we're not thinking about AI, that's when it's going to become, like, when it's just there. That's when it's going to become a real powerful thing that doesn't need to specialize. But as long as you still need that human, like, it needs to work like we do. And that's how we work. That's what
So
I said to you guys about my department. Like, humans like to specialize. And so it makes sense.
so I agree. I think, and here's like the iPhone. I think it took probably another 10 years to get on the field or on the job site, versus in the hands of people outside. So I have a question for you. Construction is getting more and more innovative, at least at a surface level. There's more departments focusing on innovation. There's more CTOs, CIOs being created. But I have, to be honest, a lot of it is also smoke and mirrors, though. Like, I'm from construction. I love construction. I serve construction today, but a lot of it is still smoke and mirrors. I was at an event a few months ago, and the keynote panel discussion had a bunch of different people on there, a lot of field people. And one of the questions to them, this is an innovation summit, said, what's the one thing that technology has done for you or innovation has done for you in the field that's just like flooring you today that you use every day right now? And the superintendent's like, well, I just can't believe that I can go out in the field, pull up my tablet and pull up the drawings and mark them up and see what's happening right there. And I thought to myself, I'm like, what? Like, the last 5 years have been spent on dumping all this money into innovation and construction, and that is what we're excited about. That's been around for 10 or more years.
And that's just
Are
paper.
we
That's
actually moving
just,
the needle, Jeff? Are
yeah.
we actually innovating? Because I hear from a lot of other people that are also saying the standard, like the traditional construction, is fragmented to a point where we can't innovate because there is an owner, an architect, an engineer, GC, and 40 subs, and none of them can get together or risk their margins to actually truly innovate. I know that's
Yeah.
more of a hardball question, but what are your
No,
thoughts on
that's
that?
not we haven't talked much prior to this, but, like, you're good. That's right in my wheelhouse, actually. If you've
Let's
ever
go
heard
then.
me speak publicly, no, but that's also like so my whole thing with Duggan Innovative Solutions is, like, my superpower is that I have EM Duggan. And so whether or
Yeah.
not you like what I'm saying, they like what I'm saying, and we're successful, and it doesn't matter to me if you don't like what I'm telling you about your company
Yeah.
or the industry or whatever, because, like, I've got my job, my day, I want to be your company to be as successful as EM Duggan, but if you don't want that, then
Yeah, you guys are true
it's
disruptors.
not gonna stop me from being candid and telling you how I feel,
Yeah.
because that's, like, the people that we're in construction. I mean, for God's sake, I could just meet you and you could tell me to go F myself. So it's like, and actually like me. And so, like, yeah, it's okay. And so here's the thing, and I've been my answer would be a lot different, I think, before I started working with other companies, because now I do kind of get it. And it's a couple different things. Like, some companies don't care about growth. They just care about where they're at. They make $100 million a year. Why would I care? Everything works. Whether I do this or I don't, I make $100 million a year.
Yeah.
Some companies want to grow exponentially. I want EM Duggan to be the first $1 trillion mechanical pipe contractor. Like, that's
Right.
me, that's us. Like, so that's one of them, is like, is there an appetite there for it? Like, maybe there isn't, and you're fine with. So in my opinion, you're a person that likes marking up sheet. Like, that is something that I absolutely do not like. I think that marking up a sheet on your iPad is just taking the paper and putting it on your iPad. You just have a new pencil and a new piece of paper. It's not a different thing. Why did you change it if you're just gonna use it? If it's making you more efficient, then great, but you're still not really changing the way you're working. You're just changing the tools you're working with. I think the percentage of companies that are really pushing the ticket is smaller than what we think it is, because I think most people talk about what they want to do and not what they're actually doing. And I used to come back from all of these conferences and from like calls and from things and whatever, and I'd be like, oh no, like, these people are doing all of this stuff and they executed it and it works, and like, that's something we've been looking at and haven't been able to figure out. Like, we better figure it out. Well, like, the benefit it had for me was that those people weren't doing a lot of that stuff, but I thought they were, and so I was like, we got to figure this out. And so we figured it out and we did it, and we got it working, and that's why I have developers, and that's why because, like, our thing is by any means necessary. If we want to do it, we're going to do it. But I think that, like, there's a lot wrapped up in it. Always comes back to the same thing for me. It's your senior leadership. Like, our senior leadership, they might tell me that I'm getting over my skis, or that I have, like, my aspirations are too quick or too fast or too like, big, but they're not gonna ever say, like, no, you shouldn't try that, or that doesn't seem, it might not be a good idea for a reason, but the reason is never because of technology or because of money or because of. So, like, senior leadership and their appetite to actually change and push the ticket, because, like, change and doing things and blazing the way is super uncomfortable. Like, you're gonna lose hours, you're gonna lose people, you're
You're
gonna
gonna lose
lose
money.
money, but you're also gonna gain money, and you're gonna be more
Yeah,
efficient,
you
and
got to
you're gonna.
take steps back to
That's it.
to move forward.
Not
Do you
everything that you're gonna do has an ROI. And so it's like, yeah, it's different. And I do think that some people are just, just like in every industry, some people are moving faster than others. And yeah, I do think there's serious innovation going on. I did a presentation like 6 years ago where I showed code on a screen, and I think people fell asleep, like, visibly fell asleep. The 12 people that were there in the audience, just like. And a year ago, I did it and did an AI presentation, and there was like standing room only. And so there is an appetite for it, and we're changing things, and things are being, like, it's more and more that companies like mine and companies like some of the other ones out there that are doing these things are, like, really pushing the ticket, and that just raises everyone's game, right? So.
do you ever feel like go ahead, Rob. I've been just getting
Jeff,
excited
you
here.
got my wheels turning about something I heard you say on I think it was on the construction dorks, and it's hitting at what you're getting at. This term operational technology. You're talking about the tools that you're using and replacing the tools. Is it replacing the process? And we talked about paper versus digital paper. What did you mean by that term operational technology?
Yeah, sure. So, like, everything that we do, my department does, and it's actually very similar to safety. We're like two of the few departments that really touch, like, almost every pillar of the company. So, like, the plumbing guys aren't doing pipe fitting. The pipe fitting guys aren't doing. And so really, like, what we're doing is so our first thing when we get a software is we do a scorecard on that software, because, like I just said, like, not everything has a ROI that you can see in a dollar perspective. And so we'll do a scorecard of that software, and we'll evaluate what changes does it make to operations, and what's the effect this software is going to have on operations at the company. And that's the first thing every time, because like I mentioned at the beginning, our whole process, our whole workflow, our whole procedure is what got us to this point. That's what is made EM Duggan a 135-year-old company that we think we're the best at doing what we do. And so what we're trying to do is that if we're going to change a technology at the company, an operational technology, something that touches almost every pillar of the company, then we're going to see is the changes in procedure going to improve our workflow. And if they're not, we're either not going to use the technology, or we're going to change the technology so that it does fit our workflow. And that goes for anything. And I think a lot of the times when we're talking about technology and construction, we're talking about like field technology or shop technology. And then your admin teams and your billing and all of that is just like in the dark ages, and everything else is, so it's like across the board everything needs to be a cohesive unit. Like, you can't be using your carbon paper and then have the best fab shop in the world. Like, everything needs to be in line with everything else for you to have a good workflow and a good tech stack that actually serves your company. And so that's all really it is. It's like what we talk about is a lot is like the distinction in construction between a CIO and a CTO. And this is my thought. I know that a lot of CIOs I would call CTOs, and a lot of CTOs are doing both jobs. But like really what it is that for us, for Duggan, the infrastructure of your company, like what email you're using, what servers you're using, how those servers fit together, what your cloud looks like, that stuff is a CIO's job. My job is operational technology. How are we operating the company with the technology we're using, and what technology are we using to do that with, if that makes sense?
So Jeff, that's
It
awesome.
does.
It's a very wild guess, but I would say 98% of construction companies in North America don't have a CTO or a CIO. If you are one of them, which probably most of the people that will ever listen to this won't have one, what do you do?
I think so. I've kind of been talking about this a little bit lately, because now the thing is like some people can't have another executive that's just doing technology and whatever. And like really, we didn't have that until 3 years ago either. Like, and so what we did and what everyone else should do is you still need a team. And whether that team is a dedicated technology team, or whether that team is just a person from every department at your company that is really good at the tech side of things, for smaller companies that might be feasible. But like really you should get closer and closer to specialization. So if you can only have a team of people that are doing other jobs that meets once a month, that's better than nothing, right? And if you can only have a department of a BIM manager and a support guy and a IT guy, then that's what your tech team is. And really what it is hiring hungry people. It's using interns, which something that Robin and James and Josh taught me a long time ago. Using interns is like to just figure things out and try things out is always a great method. And just like being open and having people that technology is what's on their agenda, whether it's like just like, you know, getting better at Revit, or like setting technology goals and having people that can give input like into them, that are actually doing the work and that aren't just giving input. Like, your CFO knows a lot, but he probably doesn't know what the best coordination ribbon is, right? And so like having people that know what they're talking about and what they specialize in. There's this thing at NASA where like if you're going to find out about a specific part, you don't go to the manager of the department that installed that part. The person that knows the most about it is the person that installed it and the person that's using it every day. So you get those people to be your mouthpiece and we did that before we even had tech department. Like a lot of the things we had, whether it was actual tools or whether whether it was mats to put on the ground or hydraulic tables, or whether it was like the computers we were using, our employees were the ones that decided on that. And that's how it should be. It should be, you need to listen to your employees because most of the time they do know what's best. And so you have those trusted employees that have the aptitude to do more tech forward things, and you just get them into it. And I bet the more companies that have that tech forward initiative may not have a CTO, but they'll probably have a named technology position within a couple years, because it never doesn't work out. Like, it always works out.
Let me ask you one more question to wrap up here, because we're getting close to time. You're an innovative leader. There's very few of you in construction. There's a lot in other worlds, but not in construction. A lot of construction companies have IT departments. In my opinion, most IT are the killers of innovation, in the way that they think of. They put barriers between everything, and it's like a good accountant, a bad accountant, a good lawyer, a bad lawyer. You have good IT, you have bad IT. How do you, what words of wisdom or coaching can you give companies that are almost like they're bottlenecked or controlled by this overpowering IT world, where not like they're blocking innovation because everything is risk? How do you disrupt that? Because I can tell you also have IT matters, but progress matters. Perfection kills progress. How do you
Yeah.
do it? How do you
Yeah.
disrupt that if within your company,
Um,
or create an innovative environment?
So I'm lucky. My CIO is wilder than I am. Hi, Tyler. And so, but I'm lucky. But I totally get what you're saying. And that was kind of my thing about, like, I've also heard of, like, that the when finance controls your tech budget and all of that, then that's when, like, you start. So I think
You have a controller versus a CFO. A
a
true
lot of
CFO
it
is very strategic.
Yeah, sure. A lot of it a lot of it boils down to, again, I'm gonna say, like, it's that top down. Like, if your leadership is giving that thing where if you lose a dollar, this is a failure, then it's a failure and you're not gonna want to do anything. So that's
Right.
number one. Like, my fear of failure is my biggest, like, thing, I think, in the industry, what keeps us from advancing. Because, like, when I started doing when Rob and his team identified, like, Jeff should be doing this, and they brought me in and they were like, we want you to take on more of an R&D position and this and that. And, I said, like, not exact words, but, like, basically, like, okay, but, like, I need you guys to understand I'm gonna fail, like, a lot. Like, a lot of what I do won't work, but if I do it that way, then a lot of what I do will, and the things that we keep will be great. So, like, something that you need to keep in mind is, like, the sunk cost fallacy. Like, pulling the cord on something that doesn't work is the best thing I can do. It's not a failure. It's not a bad thing. It's not like that we can't go back to it later. It could be that we just weren't ready for it. Like, it could be that I was wrong. And so that's, like, I always talk about Stratus. Stratus is a fabrication program, and it touches a lot of your company. And we were involved with Stratus for almost 8 years, and we didn't implement until about 3 years ago because we weren't ready for Stratus. And so that's, like, what, the sunk cost fallacy. You can't have a fear of that, and that's what IT people are trained. That is their job, is to keep. Whoever said I don't care about the IT budget, like, no, your job is to keep the IT budget as low as possible while keeping us secure and running efficiently. And, like, that's why I really believe, and Duggan really believes, that, like, we have a CIO and a CTO, because I think that those positions couldn't be more different. And that's, like, Rob brought up the operational technology. Like, it's that his job is still security and keeping us efficient and slim and making sure we're not spending way too much on way too little and all of that. But I can't have that mindset. I have to have like, I'm hungry. I want to try everything. How can we improve things? Like, cost matters, but the way that, like, I think the best thing I could leave today with, for people that, like, the last two questions are for the people that don't have a CTO, might never, the people that are kind of like static in where they're at technology wise because they have partitions in their company and all of that, is like you don't have to buy the product to try out the workflow. So like build something small, scale it a little bit. Like you could pay a company like mine or any other development company. This isn't a me thing, but you could pay someone $5,000 to build out a solution 3/4 of the way that you can just try out the workflow for our software that costs $100,000. Like if you want to get a software that is going to do this, this, and this, build it out a little bit and just see if it works in Excel. See if it works in most companies now are 365 or Google. Like you have the tools within those programs to be able to like build it out a little bit, and then if it works, scale it after that and hire someone to do it, or you buy the software or whatever. And so it's not all like, this is what I got caught up going to those conferences when I was younger, is that like everyone's doing it and they're all 100% and we're so behind and all of that. And it's not really that. It's like, okay, let's try this workflow out. Let's see how it works. And then, if it works, then in a year we get the software, and there's no like finish line. It's not. So that's what I would leave with. Start small, scale, identify the people that want to change your company and have them help do it. I think it's really easy. It seems so simple to me. And that's like, it's my ignorance of not coming from the industry, I think, right? Like, it's like, oh, well, like, why don't we just do it?
Well, that's what it's like on site. We got to take that same mentality into the office.
What's the worst that could happen?
That's awesome. That's a great way to close it up. Hey, Rob?
Jeff, that's a mic drop, man. So many wisdom nuggets that you shared with us today. I always appreciate you, man. Thank you for sharing and joining us today and spending some special time with us, man. I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you guys. It was awesome.
That was great.
Gabe,
get on the
thank you.
tools, Jeff. Go finish that drywall behind you.
Yeah, man. That's the rest of my day. That's definitely what I'm going to be doing over the 4th of July weekend.
Perfect.
Oh, man, you got to love it. Well, thank you guys for joining me for this talk. Thank you for listening to this conversation. So that's all the time we have for this episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Frontline Focus podcast powered by Salus. If you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe to our show on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Or better yet, leave us a comment on social media for us to hear your thoughts about this conversation around artificial intelligence for construction. Until next time, keep moving safety forward.